Hey guys, I've been uh, I've been wondering about it, how what everybody is doing in the around the country, around the world. It's kind of interesting. I want to see what kind of people, what they're doing in these pandemic days. Got stuck at inside the house and inside the room, and it is tough. People like me we've been always social kind of people, outgoing people, it's very tough staying at home and doing nothing, or do not do something. I write, that's one thing I do. I improved my writing skills extremely well. I started this a webcast on the YouTube. It's also I'm spending my time in a way. A lot of people, they're wondering what they do. Everybody does at the home. It's not easy. One thing is I have nobody to fight with, so that's a good thing. At home, I miss my kids. That's they're busy with their lives, and I remember Khalil Gibran. What he said is they you can't expect too much from them. They said that they are from you, but they're not you. That's what it is. You have to let them go and do find their lives and explore things. So I accepted that fact. It is tough for a while for as an Indian father. It's tough, but I survived. So um, what I will talk about it. So what is India, China? A lot of people, Americans, may not know about this, but there is a lot of conflict going between India and China. China took over parts of India, recently encroached, and they dismantled some of these things, and they're putting tents in the Indian territory. Is always agreed upon that territory, and they are encroaching on that one. And there was a big fight went on. It was almost would have been a big war. It is almost came to a war. So what is China doing? Chinese people are acting up a little bit because they're feeling isolated. These communist regimes, that's the problem. They're authoritarian regimes. They don't work with the people what they want. They're feeling isolated. I think the people are going to sense this isolation and they're going to revolt against this communist leaders. So they're worried about that. So I think that is a major thing, and you know, so that is a thing that is going to make a difference. These Chinese are becoming a very antsy, and then started a war in Indian border. 20 Indian soldiers are killed. It is not some joke. And India retaliated. They claim that there's some people killed on Chinese side. We don't know confirm. We don't have confirmation, but it looks like some of them are Chinese killed. So Chinese are feeling very isolated because that's one of the problem. We this is the biggest thing I've been screaming out of my lungs in my system for a long time. So what he's saying that is Chinese are controlling the entire healthcare system of the world. They supply everything from small supplies from the gloves to all the way to MRI machines. So they became a really controlling people, whether you like it or not. So it is a very dangerous situation we are in with China. So they are trying to fight with India because they know India is becoming very popular with the rest of the world because democracy is getting paid off. At the end, democracy wins. We were ignored in the beginning by United States and every other country. Now they understand the value of democracy. It is a very powerful one in that sense that that's what's going on. So I I hope you can hear me. I don't know whether anybody is there or not. Uh, I hope. So that is anybody. So listen to me. This is a very interesting concept. Um, so I was installing digital X-ray machines sometime. What happened was we have to import from either China or Japan. Okay, and that was a big problem. Okay, because all the machines has to come from either China or Japan. So if you don't get a screw, a nut, a bolt, then the installation is delayed, the care is delayed, people are not going to get X-rays or anything like that. That is sad part of it. Okay, so you have to wait for 2 3 weeks to get that bolt, that part missing, or you want to repair something. So we handed over the dangerous part of national security, in a sense. The entire world handed over the healthcare system to the China. And can you believe this? This is where people may not like it, but I agree with Trump about that process. We became war dependent on only one country, China. Then a poor country like India also, I mean, it's not poor now, but poorest countries also depending on China to supply for them. So India is a self-reliant country, but they did not do any manufacturing. They have not done any manufacturing. So every country went to China to get this there, including Japan. Probably they did accept few items, high quality items from Japan and Korea. But they're too small countries to support the entire system. I mean, Japan is good, but Chinese, you cannot compete with Chinese products. So United States and India handed over this entire manufacturing to China. In, you cannot get a single product in medical devices or medical supplies without China. It is a tragic and saddest part. So this pandemic is just a wake up call for us. I'm telling you, this is a beginning of a pandemic. This is a COVID-19 is not going to go anywhere. We have to develop our own systems, the healthcare defense systems. We have to develop. So how do you do this? I have a solution for this. It's a Gandhian solution. If you know Gandhi, what he did was in 1920s and 30s. There was India was occupied by the British, and they're taking all the cotton from India and then shipping it to England, and then textile mills were industrialized machines, and they're textiling all the machines, do the clothing, and then send back to India, and then selling to higher prices. So, so they take the cotton from India, they ship it to England, make a cloth, and send it back to India for a much more, 10 times sometimes higher price. Higher price. Same cotton. So the cottage industry, they do this, what do you call, weaving. They do like this. I'll show you the machine next time. But you see the machine. Those clothes. They're all out of business. These poor guys from a small villages, they do clothes. They're all out of business because they could not compete with the industrial machines. And also there's a price mafia, right? That they see the small guys are competing, and they drop the price. They can afford to drop the price. They drop below the cost price, and then let everybody go out of business, and they come back and increase the prices. That's a classic game of England. So they did that. That part of the England did that. So it is. I don't know. So that was a big problem. Okay, England is a bigger problem in my view. So at that time, so Gandhi came up with a brilliant idea. Gandhi was not a socialist. Anybody thinks about Gandhi was a socialist? He witnessed in South Africa Indians' wealth. Indians came down as a coolies, as a labor in South Africa, and they started their business, and the entrepreneurship paid off, and they became rich. And he witnessed that wealth, in the Gandhi witnessed that wealth, and he is not a socialist by any means. He is an entrepreneur. He likes entrepreneurship. So what he did was he said that, okay, we start, we have to go against what he did. You started a movement like Black Lives Matter or any of the Antifa kind of movements. He said that buy India, it's just a classic thing, make in India, buy India. So it is called a Swadesh Khadi. That is the name of the Swadesh means self, country. Swadesh Khadi movement, he started it. So that Swadesh Khadi became caught up with Indian. We took this, he captured the psychic of Indian people. and then people stopped buying India. The that is the beginning, the end of the British Raj, British dominance in India, because all India followed him. A lawyer from England, trained a lawyer, came back to India and wearing his own, he is making his own clothes. Life magazine interviewed him and said that he is a man with, they introduced Gandhi to first to Western media. He said that a man who makes his own clothes, that's what they showed in a Life magazine. So he started this Swadeshi Khadi movement, that make your own clothes, really took off in India. So Indians stopped buying the British clothes, and it caught the surprise. They don't know how to deal with that kind of movement in British people. British did not understand that kind of a revolutionary idea from Gandhi. It is competition. You cannot force anybody to buy. Is it? So what they did was they it was the beginning of the end of the British dominance. Um, so I was thinking, why can't we do that in the United States? We have a Defense Production Act. Everybody produces machines. Ventilators. We did that within days. So every company went on defense. Production for the ventilators. 3M is one of them, and a lot of ventilator companies. So they produced a mass number of ventilators. So now we can. This is a still, in my view, that is a bad way of doing it. We're depending on big mega companies to produce it and give them incentives, give them more money, give them more control. I think there is another option. The option is that Swadeshi movement kind of thing. Let every village or every town, and in the homes they can make it. You don't have to show. You can stay in the house. You can make these products. Maybe you can supply 3D machines, 3D printing machines, or you can do other ways. You can supply small parts. They can make it as small parts in their houses, and the manufacturing takes out. And then this kind of idea was actually implemented in Japan in 1930s. They took the idea of the Gandhi, they implemented it in Japan. What they did was, they remember the wheels. My father used to have a watch, the wheels, the old watch from HMT, Hindustan Machine Labs. That's an old watch. There's a lot of wheels inside, a lot of wheels, that spring, and the wheels go on. So that wheels, every house made different wheels. The whole village made a different wheels. Every house made a different wheels, and then in the evening they collect all the wheels, and then they go to another town and they make it assemble together. They make a watch, and they sold the watches that way. So that is an amazing concept, right? If you believe, if it is an amazing concept, they took the watches, the wheels, they made it in every house, and then they collected it, and then they assembled in a big city, in one place, a big place. So, and then they start selling watches. So this is same concept we can use for the medical devices. We can make these devices in homes. You can have algorithm. You can ensure the safety, integrity through the very powerful algorithms we have, blockchain, or you can use a blockchain. You can use a quantum computers. You can use a very powerful algorithms to use it to maintain the quality and integrity of the process and safety of the process. You can do that and then produce the medical devices around the world, medical devices for us, so we don't have to go outside. I think another thing I say is we should collaborate with India and the United States, the two democratic countries, largest democracies, combine their resources together, because India has a huge human capital, and the United States has a lot of resources. You combine these together, and then make them as a unified, a big production side. And then India does the same thing. Just do in the villages, create an employment. You're not only creating employment by distributing these devices to manufacturing in the every town, every house. You're creating a massive employment and keeping the people busy. I think the civil, I have a different name. That's what I call, is not a Defense Production Act. I call Civil Production Act. You should do that in India. You should do that here in the United States. This is my idea. So guys can listen to me. Nobody joined so far. I mean, there's a couple of people I think are there, but when you get a chance, go through this video. And I have a event coming on Sunday, India U.S. Healthcare Summit. How we can collaborate together and make these kind of things that I was mentioning to make it happen. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Really wonderful to uh, communicate this way. Thank you.